10 personal finance things to do to stop being a broke digital nomad. So here's how to sort out your finances if you're living that digital nomad life or you're thinking of becoming a digital nomad in the future. So how many of these have you done? Have you checked off the list, or what do you need to improve on? Number one is the emergency fund. So I say that digital nomads need a much bigger emergency fund than the typical corporate employee, mainly because if you're a freelancer or if you don't earn a steady income, if the income that you receive is quite irregular, some months are high, some months are low. For an emergency fund, the general rule of thumb is to keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses put aside in case of emergencies. But for digital nomads, I would say to have 9 to 12 months set aside at a minimum. So having a much larger buffer in case an emergency happens. Number two is the cliche budgeting. So if you don't know your numbers, you could be heading for financial trouble. So for your income, if you've got a steady stream of income coming in, great. But what if you're like some nomads I've met in the past who are running low on savings, they don't have a job or are having a very low paying job and are just winging it when they're traveling? In that case, I would say establish a no-go number. So a no-go number, in my view, is the minimum amount you want to keep in your account. Once you hit that point, it's either time to find a job or head back home. Next is tracking your costs. So this helped me personally know exactly where money is going, and also helped me to catch any spending habits. Like if you're not sure where the money is going, when you check your tracked expenses, like if you're not sure where the money is going and you check your tracked spending and see, oh, okay, I go shopping after the gym because it's on the way home, or after work, I then go online shopping and start buying clothes, maybe because I'm bored or I'm tired. In my view, effectively tracking spending helps to catch what you do, catching your spending behavior, which then can lead you to say, okay, these are the areas that I have maybe an issue in, or these are the areas where I want to make some improvements in, and then you can go take the actions to fix it. Now, I like to use an Excel sheet for tracking all the big costs, and then I use normal banking apps that automatically categorize what I spend into different buckets or categories, like whether it's food or transport. So when I look back at the previous month, I can roughly see this is the amount that I spent for groceries, meals out, transport, miscellaneous, travel, all of that. Next is separating business and personal expenses. So if you're freelancing or running a business when you're traveling, keeping business expenses and personal expenses separate helps big time in my view, especially when it comes to the company tax season and when you're having conversations with your accountants as well. It really makes it a lot easier for your accountant because you're going to have to show at some point anyway what are the business only expenses. So a good tip here is to use different accounts or cards for personal expenses and then for business expenses. So maybe you have a business bank account, or you have an account where you only make all your business transactions through that account. So when you have your conversations with your accountant, or if you're filing your own self-employed tax return, you can very easily see the money that came in, the money that came out, because you're not trying to separate, was this a personal expense, was this a business expense, that kind of thing. And this leads me to the next point, which is always asking for receipts, especially for your business expenses, whether it's meals, accommodation, transport. Asking for receipts and keeping those receipts together in a safe place will help big time and save you a lot of time when it comes to doing your taxes at the end of the year with your accountant, or if you're doing it yourself, especially for your business account. Depending on the expense, like you might be able to claim back some of those expenses maybe through either your employer that you're working for or either through your business as a business expense. Again, do your own research on that. Speak to a qualified professional, a qualified accountant, tax advisor, all of that to find out what you can expense, what you can't expense. Next is taxes. So every country has its own rules, whether that's income tax, corporation tax, or even what classifies you as being tax resident in a particular country, and you don't want to get caught off guard when it comes to taxes. So if you're working while you're traveling, this can get complicated. Now, everyone's situation is completely different. So if you're not sure what to do about your tax situation, I would suggest that you speak to a professional accountant, tax advisor, a professional who understands the digital nomad lifestyle and that can help you understand what it is that you might need to do depending on the country that you're in. Even just Googling accountants or tax advisors in X area, the area that you're in, so you can find out a few contacts who are in the professional accountancy tax advisory space who can help you when you need. Then next is banking smart. So on banking, I would say having a backup bank card. Like, you never know when your bank might decide to send you a new card to address in your old country, or the card that you have, your bank card, gets lost or stolen. So what worked for me and a number of others I know is to have a second card from another bank, just in case something happens to your main bank card. Like, for example, if you're traveling and you lose your card or it gets stolen, your bank might then issue you the new card, but they might not be able to send it to the address that you're in. They might only be able to send this replacement card to your home country, or to the country where or to the address where it's registered with your bank. Again, this is going to depend on the bank that you use, so that might be one to check just in case. So you can check with your bank whether, if in the future, say if you lose a card or you need to get a replacement card, can the bank send you a replacement card to any address in the world that you need or where you are. Next is exchange rates. This is actually very underrated, but super important. So researching different exchange rates. So whether you're using a traditional bank or a newer challenger bank or a currency exchange platform, I would say look at ways to get a decent exchange rate, especially if you're traveling and using your home currency account to pay for things in a new currency with a different local currency. So some people use things like Revolut or Wise to make transactions, and which apparently have a better exchange rate. Again, do your own research, have a little look at what your currency transfers to. Then there's retirement account contributions. So many digital nomads I've come across have not thought at all about retirement or retirement contributions, which is actually kind of scary. So I would say look at retirement account options that you have and make a plan to regularly contribute money to this account, to this retirement account or pension. Maybe your employer offers a company pension, but most freelancers or solopreneurs need to sort this out themselves, i.e. meaning they need to set up their own pension account or retirement account and then actively set up automatic payments in order to make contributions to that retirement account. So it's not one that is talked about often, but I think it's very much underrated and something that we need to normalize more in the digital nomad space, to make sure that people that are in these digital nomad lifestyles are not forgetting about looking at this retirement funding component in their budgeting and in their life. Lastly is monthly review. So finally, take some time to sit down and review your finances monthly. Even as a digital nomad, this is so important. So that can mean sitting down and going through your spending, asking yourself what went well, what didn't go well. There's so many apps out there that help you categorize your spending so that you can see exactly where your money's going, like at a glance. I think that reviewing your finances makes you more financially aware of your situation, and it can show you how good you're doing or also how not good you're doing, and maybe gives you a little nudge in the right direction to say, okay, I overspent so much this past month, I need to get better. This is where the pain points are and this is how I'm going to address it. So reviewing your expenses, it's underrated. I find that we hear it a lot, whether it's social media or it's just seen as that, yeah, that would be good practice to do, but I find it's also heavily underrated, and not many people really sit down and really look at their finances. So if you do, that's really good. Those are my personal finance tips for digital nomads. Like and subscribe for more on how you can master your money and energy, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.